Marissa's bold stand. A sidewalk encounter that changed everything just days ago. On a crowded city sidewalk, a young woman named Marissa Hensley held a cardboard sign that read, "Hug me for $5, struggling to pay rent and care for her." Little brother. Marissa had faced rejection from 37 job applications, turned away for having tattoos or being told she didn't fit the brand. But then, something unexpected happened. President Donald Trump's motorcade suddenly stopped. Trump himself stepped out, approached Marissa, and asked her about the sign. What followed was more than a conversation. It was a passionate exchange about freedom, opportunity, and the everyday struggles of Americans like her. Marissa didn't ask for a handout, just a fair shot. Trump listened. And while he didn't offer a hug, he did something else. He turned to his aide and gave a direct order: find Marissa a real job in a field like logistics or manufacturing, where her skills could finally shine. That moment gave Marissa a spark of hope, and today that hope turned into reality. After months of waiting and wondering if her sidewalk encounter with President Trump was just a fleeting moment, Marissa Hensley's life finally changed. While making breakfast for her 12-year-old brother Tyler, her phone buzzed, an unknown number. Normally she'd ignore it, but something told her to answer. "Hello, this is Marissa," she said cautiously. On the line was a woman named Karen, from a presidential task force, calling to offer her an interview for a logistics position at a growing factory outside the city. Shocked and thrilled, Marissa could hardly believe it. After countless rejections and canceled programs, her chance had come. She agreed immediately, turned to Tyler, and burst with excitement. "Tyler, I might actually get a job today." He grinned and high-fived her. "I knew you'd do it." With little time to spare, Marissa threw on her best second-hand outfit, grabbed her folder of certificates, and set out, hope finally back in her step. Marissa glanced at her reflection, the edges of her tattoos peeking out from beneath her sleeves. For a moment, doubt crept in. What if they judged her again? But then she remembered Trump's words. America is about being yourself, about winning. With a deep breath, she tied her hair back, grabbed her folder including the logistics course certificate she'd earned a year ago, and stepped out the door. The factory was a 45-minute bus ride away, in an unfamiliar industrial part of the city. As the bus rumbled through the streets, her mind flooded with memories, weeks of silence after the encounter, her return to the sidewalk with the same "hug me for $5" sign, and the growing fear that the president's promise had been just a publicity moment. But then, out of nowhere, came the call asking for her resume. She hadn't expected much until now. Standing before the massive building marked Global Max Freed Solutions, the scent of oil and steel in the air, and the hum of machines in the distance, Marissa took a breath and walked into the reception area, hope and nerves crashing in equal measure. At the factory entrance, a friendly woman named Linda greeted Marissa with a warm smile, handed her a visitor badge, and said, "They're expecting you in the conference room." Heart pounding, Marissa followed the directions down a long hallway, her palms slick with nerves. Inside, she met two interviewers, Robert, the logistics manager, and Priya, the HR lead, both welcoming and kind. Marissa quickly noticed a small flower tattoo on Priya's wrist, a detail that gave her a quiet boost of confidence. Robert began by explaining the role. With new trade deals in motion, their operations were expanding fast, and they needed someone sharp to manage inventory and deliveries. "Your online logistics course and your determination stood out," he said. "Tell us about yourself." Marissa took a steady breath and began sharing her story, her past in retail, managing inventory, learning machinery, and teaching herself logistics software. She didn't hide her hardships either, opening up about being overlooked because of her tattoos. "I'm here," she said firmly, "because I want a real chance. I'm not afraid of hard work," Marissa said, her voice steady. "I'll do whatever it takes to prove myself." Robert and Priya exchanged a look and nodded. Priya leaned forward and said, "Marissa, we've had many applicants, but your story stands out. The way you've kept going despite every setback shows grit, and honestly, your tattoos, not an issue here. We care about what you can do, not how you look." Robert smiled and added, "The president's team contacted us directly. They said you deserved a fair shot, and after meeting you, we agree. We'd like to offer you the job full-time, with benefits, starting next week at $18 an hour." For a second, Marissa couldn't breathe. Tears welled in her eyes as she whispered, "Yes, absolutely, I'll take it." After shaking hands and receiving her paperwork, she stepped outside, the weight of years lifting off her shoulders. Pulling out her phone, she called Tyler. "I got the job," she shouted. His excited cheer made her laugh through her tears. "I knew it," he yelled. "We're celebrating tonight." And just like that, a new chapter had begun. Marissa arrived early on her first day, wearing a bright yellow safety vest over her clean black pants and blouse, the same outfit shown in the thumbnail. The factory floor buzzed with energy. Forklifts zipped between aisles stacked high with pallets. Workers scanned barcodes, and the roar of diesel engines filled the air as trucks backed into loading bays to receive shipments. It was loud, fast, and unlike anything Marissa had experienced before. Her role was to manage the inventory system, tracking incoming and outgoing goods, flagging shortages, and keeping the process smooth and accurate. She spent the morning shadowing Priya, learning how to navigate the company's logistics software. And by afternoon, she was already assisting with the shipment of car parts headed to a nearby port. At first, Marissa felt overwhelmed by the scale of the operation and the rapid pace, but she didn't let it show. Slowly, day by day, she began to find her rhythm. She grew close with her co-workers like Jamal, the forklift driver who cracked jokes to keep the mood light, and Elena, a determined single mom working night shifts to provide for her 2 kids. Hearing their stories, Marissa realized she wasn't alone. Nearly everyone around her had fought their own battles to be here. That sense of shared struggle and perseverance made her feel like she truly belonged. Then, one afternoon, about a month into the job, Marissa was unexpectedly called into Robert's office. Her heart skipped. Had she made a mistake? Was something wrong? Marissa braced herself, worried she might have made a mistake, but as she stepped into Robert's office, he greeted her with a wide smile. "Marissa, you've been doing great work," he said. "You've picked up the system faster than anyone expected, and the team really enjoys working with you. We'd like to promote you to lead coordinator for the evening shift. It comes with more responsibility and a raise. You'll be earning $20 an hour. Think you're up for it?" Marissa's eyes widened at promotion already. Her heart swelled with pride as she nodded quickly. "Yes, absolutely. Thank you for believing in me." That night, she rushed home to share the news with Tyler. They celebrated the moment with pizza and ice cream, the first real treat they'd had in months. As they sat on the couch, full and happy, Tyler looked at her with glowing admiration. "You're killing it, Marissa," he said. "When I grow up, I'm going to be just like you." She laughed, ruffling his hair. "No, buddy. You're going to be even better." In the months that followed, Marissa's life steadily transformed. With her new income, she was able to move herself and Tyler into a brighter, safer apartment, one with a small backyard where he could play. She paid off old bills, stocked the fridge without anxiety, and for the first time in years, began putting a little money aside each month. Stability had finally found them, and it all started with a chance encounter and a promise fulfilled. Marissa no longer felt the need to hide her tattoos. They were a part of her story, and now she wore them with pride. At work, she became a quiet source of strength for new hires, mentoring them and sharing her journey as proof that setbacks didn't have to be the end. She never forgot that afternoon on the sidewalk or the promise Trump had made. Whether it was his influence or her own unshakable resolve, Marissa knew she had earned every bit of what she had. She had fought for it, and she had won. Looking back, she realized that opportunity had never just been about getting a job. It was about being seen, being valued, and given the space to build something real for herself and for Tyler. She hoped her story would remind others that even when the odds feel impossible, there's still hope. As she stood confidently on the factory floor, overseeing another shipment, Marissa knew in her heart she was right where she belonged.